back to another episode of Stitch Method. I hope you're going to enjoy this one. This one's pretty cool, I think. We're going to be using one of my favorite jams to work on the 8 easy steps to a better guitar solo. And so I will let you know right off the bat that this doesn't work for every song, but it works for a lot of songs. So the practice of this will help you build the confidence to navigate pretty much any guitar solo in the future. It's just kind of like a stepping stone. So we're going to be using the song After Midnight, but I'm going to be using the Jerry Garcia band version. It's just something I listen to a lot, I really enjoy, and I feel like it's a very good template for everyone who's watching this to play along with. All right, so now, well, let's just get right into it. First thing you got to do, actually I guess it's 9 easy steps. The first thing you got to do is you got to know the chord progression. Now, the chord progression for this version of the song is definitely 9 easy steps now. All right, so the first thing you gotta do is, like I said, know the chord progression, and it's very, very simple. The original one, well, not the original, the most popular one, which is Clapton's version, is in C. Jerry Garcia band version starts on the E, and so we're gonna use that version. So the chords are E, G, A, and E. Play the whole thing. Then E. I forgot to say the chords at the last part because I was so entranced, but it's the same as the first part. So now, I have that down. The first thing you want to do, which is where my number 1 started, but we'll start at number 1, is you want to learn as best you can, the vocal melody over that part. Now, again, a song that you choose has to have a guitar solo over a verse or a vocal melody, and you want to learn it. Now, you don't have to learn it note for note, but you want to know it pretty well, and you want to try and make it sound as close as possible. And so here, step number 1 is I just kind of hummed along, and I found the vocal melody. So I'll play on my looper, so let's see if we can agree that sounds pretty close. It doesn't have to sound exact, just pretty close. And so right there, I mean, you can already hear it sounds good, and the reason it sounds good is because you're emulating the vocal melody. So that's step number 1. All right. Number 2 is you want to know what scale you can use on top of your section. Now, there are many scales you actually can use on the section. The easiest one being E minor pentatonic. Okay, all these notes, E, G, A, and B, go with the E minor pentatonic. What Jerry Garcia does is he uses it, but he also uses, he puts in a lot of major third dancing, the hybrid scale. Again, this is available in my blues trick number 1. He also puts in sometimes a C sharp here. And so I'm going to say he puts in like a Mixodorian scale, and you want to do whatever you can do. If it's E minor pentatonic, that's fine. If you want to add the major thirds, which Jerry does a lot. And I will make a chart for it. I'll make a chart for this song and all the steps, and it will have, I guess, the tab for the vocal melody and show you what the scale is if you want to use it. Help support Stitch Method. But here we go. So now, I'm going to play that vocal melody. And what I'm going to do is, if you choose the E minor pentatonic or the Mixodorian, whatever you choose, you want to play the vocal melody, and you want to put in where the vocal melody stops. You want to start filling it with your scale choice. By the way, we're already on step number 3. See how easy it is? Step number 1, step number 1 is learn the vocal melody. Step number 2 is know your scale option. And step number 3 is just throw in your scale options after the vocal melody has come to a rest. And really the secret track, the hidden number 1 rule is know your chords, but this is where I started my brain. So we're on step number 3. Okay, so now listen for the vocal melody. Listen for when I have a space in the vocal melody, I'll put in some scale work. Here we go. Happy right there, right? You just play the vocal melody, and when it stops, you insert your scale however you want to insert it, because you're going to be coming back to the vocal melody. It's going to give it some purpose. So that was step number 3. Step number 4, I have my notes, you probably see me looking. Step number 4 is to start to pixelate the melody using the scale. So what does pixelate mean? It means to kind of break it apart, or I like to say like a Kit Kat bar, like break it apart like a Kit Kat. You don't have to start sticking, you don't have to keep on playing the melody, the vocal melody, exactly as it was. You can kind of like play a little bit, boom, boom, and kind of mess around with it. So start pixelating the vocal melody. Start with a little bit of it, and then don't end with it. And then keep going with your scale choice. So now this step number 4, again, I want to reiterate, you play your melody, but only like half of it. You start to make it fall apart and choose your scale, and where the vocal melody would have ended, and you're already broken it apart, you kind of just bleed back into the scale choice, have fun with it, and then get back to your vocal melody when the second like part comes in, or when the melody would join the song. So let's listen to that effect. That was pixelation. One more time, you'll hear it start again, like pixelate. Fill. Pixelate. So that's step number 4, I'd say, is the hardest, because you hear the vocal melody start, then you got to kind of take off on your own path, and you want to use the scale. The step number 5 is very similar to step number 4, which is you want to pixelate, like I said, break apart, Kit Kat, I like pixelate, with the rhythm of the solo. So the rhythm of the vocal melody. So that rhythm, ba 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 ba. Ba, 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 da, ba, ba, ba. And now you can use different notes of the scale, but adhere to the rhythm of the original structure. That's going to give a sense of familiarity. And so listen for that, how I'm not going to play the vocal melody at all. I'm going to stick to my scale, either my E minor pentatonic or my E mixoDorian scale. And you're going to use that rhythm to kind of say something, but with the wrong notes, you know? Not the wrong notes of, it's going to sound bad, but not the vocal melody notes. Here we go. I was attached to the rhythm of the vocal melody, but playing whatever notes I felt like playing on the scale. So let's go over this again. Step 1, well, actually, like the prerequisite, know your chords. Step 1, learn the vocal melody. Step 2, know what scale you can use as a scale option in your part. Step 3, fill the spaces where the vocal melody stops with your scale. Step 4, pixelate the vocal melody, like start off with a little bit of it and then let it fall apart into your scale, and make it a little bit unfamiliar as you start to the end of it, okay? Step 5 is you pixelate the whole thing, but you adhere, by pixelating again, just playing notes of the scale, you're not sticking to the melody of the vocals anymore, but you are sticking to the rhythm of it. And step, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, that was step 5, excuse me, that was step 5. Step 6 we're about to get to, which is just let go. Like let go now and have fun. Now this is the part where everybody hears, and again, like I'm a big fan of Jerry Garcia, this is the part where everybody kind of hears Jerry's like real self come out. He's done these steps, or anybody's done these steps, and then you just solo on the scale how you see fit. Try to break away from the rhythm. Try just to have fun. Just try to say something that's not already been said. And so we'll get to that part, okay? So here we go. So listen for the whole thing. I'm going to kind of like have to do it a couple times, and I apologize, but I will say everything as I do it. So here's the volume of my guitar. Here's the vocal melody start. Like, fill, vocal melody, fill, now I'm going to start pixelating the vocals. Here we go. Wasn't the most impressive thing. I kind of wish I could do that better, but I'm going to keep it in. And so now we're up to the let go part, where you just abandoned ship and you kind of just went for it. And so you keep on going for it, and then so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Letting go was step number 6. Number 7 is you come back. Because you let go, you want to come back to this pixelated. So you peaked on letting go. Now you want to come back. And now you can grab onto the pixelated rhythm technique, or you can grab onto the pixelated melody. When you come back, you have these options of going back to whatever pixelation you choose, which is, do I want to kind of like stick to the rhythm of where it was, or do I want to kind of start bringing the notes back? Any which way, it is a sense of being familiar to the audience, and it will start to capture them. And then, that was step number 7, I'll show you. And then step number 8 is you come back home to the vocal melody, and you put your scales back in, and you end. Okay, so I'll show you step number 7 and 8. Again, I have to build it all up. So what we're looking for is, after letting go and having fun, you start to bring back some sort of sense of familiarity, which is either the pixelated melody or holding onto the rhythm of playing random notes, and then you bring it home to the vocal melody. So I'm going to try and like focus on all this and say it out loud, but let's see if we can do this. so I'll have everything up right here, what I was doing. And again, I followed my 8 steps and I followed them in perfect succession. And you don't have to actually do that once you start to really understand the layers of this. You can do it like in any order, although I do suggest you start off with the vocal melody and go from there. But mixing and matching like steps like, 3 through 7, totally possible. And so I hope that you guys and ladies watching this enjoy this and apply this. If you have a looper, you can put those loops down, and if not, maybe I'll make a backing track. I'm not sure if I have the time for it, but see if you have a looper, definitely do this. So I hope this helps out. The idea is that the audience members do enjoy listening to something that sounds familiar, and if you just go on your scale option, sometimes it's very hard to write something in real time that takes the person on a journey. So you gotta learn how to do it. So it all starts with the familiar into the unknown and back to the familiar. And I hope that you enjoyed this quick lesson, somewhat quick. And that's pretty much it. So go get it, and remember, join my Stitch Method Jammers on Facebook. Look up on Facebook, Stitch Method Jammers, and post yourself doing this stuff. I love to hear it. Plus remember, if you are a member of the Stitch Method Jammers, then I will probably end up calling you randomly on my live feed on Thursdays when I do a video, and talk to you live. And that's pretty much it. All right, guys, rock and roll. Hope you had a fun time here, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.